Hey, this is Chris Olkowski, and it's November 30th, 2020. I'm just going to have a devotional for today, and I'm going to be just really focus on the fact that for today, I believe that God is showing us and telling us to not be so caught up in the world. Okay, we all know this, but it's a reminder and a motivation to really do this in ways that you may not think about. Um, I was just thinking about how at work we can sometimes think that we need to befriend somebody at work. Now, if it's God and God's directing you to do that, to love on them and befriend them in a way that you're going to minister to them, that's one thing. But if you're trying to just be friends with them so that you can they'll be on your side and you be on their side, and you bond with them so that they like you, that's not healthy. Okay, that's actually going to drag you into the world more. And when you get to work, you'll feel like so burdened because you'll be like, oh, I feel so weary when I'm there. It's because you're probably not in the Lord then. And I know that's for me for a lot. I struggle with that because I'm afraid that they're not going to like me, and then it's not going to go well in my work. But I think that if we trust the Lord, He can cover that, and He can help us to love people, love coworkers in a way that you can care for them and do your job well and all that, without you being that you have to have them as your friend and have to do the things they like or anything like that. That you have to come alongside them in a way that you have to align yourself with them. And if they say a bad joke, or if they are doing something wrong and you're just agreeing with them, oh yeah, you should just do that wrong thing, or anything like that, that you're being the light, and the that gives them love and guidance and support in a godly way, because they're going to recognize that, and they're going to see that, and like, wow, I really appreciate your kind words and your thought provoking, and how loving you are, even though you say to me that this is probably not good or whatever, you're doing it in a loving way. And I've done that, and that's been a good thing. It's worked out because I've been very gentle when I do it, when there's correction, or I've been very supportive of people when it's justified, and they feel that because there's a Holy Spirit behind it, and praying alongside that, praying, God, show me, and just move on people. You can touch people in a special way when I'm at work. God will do that. And that's what's so important. But that's with anything. As you go to day-to-day things, we're supposed to be loving on people. But sometimes we can get really upset. Like, we're driving and we get upset because somebody cuts us off, and then we beep their horn. We beep our horn. And that's not godly, because you're letting your frustrations like be poured out rather than just being onto the Lord. All our anxiety and all our cares should be onto the Lord, not onto other people. But see, that's the thing, that we're running to this all the day, moment by all day. We're gonna run into stuff like that, and if it's work or just driving or at home, and you're gonna be frustrated about things don't work out at home, and then you yell at your family members because you're like, "Can you just pick up this stuff?" Or, I get frustrated when things don't work out wrong. I start swearing. Chris, are you swearing? Why are you doing that? And it's like it creates that atmosphere that's not godly, because I'm getting all this anger and I'm getting frustrated. And my wife can feel that. And you're like, Chris, you're making me all anxiety because I can feel that off you. Instead of being at peace, say, God will take care of it. See how that works in? And it's so important to not get into the world too much on your everyday life, and giving it over to the Lord over and over again. Yeah, it's a process, and we're growing in that. But that's what my focus is for today, and my motivation for today is, whatever you're doing today, make it about the Lord, and don't make it about trying to please yourself or try to please others in a way that's fleshly. And those are some ideas. I mean, I probably brought up a lot of things that you're like, oh, yeah, just ask God, God, what do you want me to focus on for today? You want, Lord. Because, gosh, I brought up like, what, 4 or 5 things. I mean, there's probably tons of things that could be. Satan will bring up a lot more even. Oh, look at all this stuff. And then you can get depressed over it. No. There's a lot of things we probably need to work on. Okay, we're probably not in the spirit a lot. Well, first thing is to seek the Lord and be in peace with the Lord and be at peace with God and get in that relationship. That's the first thing we always need to do. That's why we had devotions. It's not just a duty. It's not just because, okay, now I've read the scriptures and that's my duty. No, it's because you're connecting with the Lord. The devotional for today is to get with the Lord, focus on Him, and then say, okay, what are you directing me today? What do you want me to do in terms of not being so consumed in whatever I'm doing? If it's work or my job, things around the house, or my family members, or making things look nice around the house. What is it, Lord, you want me to work on for today? And then, move forward in it. And then get in the Lord about it. And sometimes He'll bring reasons why you're so tied to that because of the fact that it never was like that at your house when you grew up. It was always disorderly, and you just get frustrated. It reminds you of your childhood that you get frustrated about. It's like, then you have to let that go. You have to let that go. Like, you know what? God will take care of it. It's like God was there when I was having a bad childhood or had some hard times in my childhood, and He comforts me in that. And that's, if you need help with that, we've been counseling people, because regular counseling can be, even Christian counseling can be so worldly. It's not. It's the Holy Spirit touching you in a special way that's just going to heal you from those areas, more quickly than Christian counseling even, or just worldly counseling in general, because it's the Holy Spirit that heals us, it comforts us, and directs us. And that's what it's all about, is listening and being directed by the Holy Spirit. And then once He starts healing that area, then all of a sudden when you're reminded of it and you're like, oh my gosh, everything's a mess again. Okay, God, I know you took care of me back. You can take, if I gone to you, if I would have gone to you when I was little, I would have been at peace no matter what would have happened. And now you want to be in peace now, because that's what the answer is. The answer is that you take care of me and want to take care of me and is able to take care of me. Where back then I could have been taken care of, and now I can be. So I'm going to let you take care of me, because it does work. And I don't have to have things look good for everything to turn out all right, because that was a lie from the past. Just because everything's a mess does not mean it's because that's going to cause me to not be at peace. And it doesn't have to be that way. And I'm going to have a terrible life. I can be okay with that for a time, for a while. And I can know that God will take care of this situation. And then He gives you, direction in it. Maybe you can clean it up, or you don't have to clean it up right away. I'm just going to be with the Lord. I'm going to be at peace. And I'm going to be thankful for what I have. I at least have a house, or at least I have a family, or whatever it is. Be thankful for everything, in need or in plenty. That's what Paul said, and so that's what we need to do. We just need to be at peace with the Lord. And then when we confront those things, and God can heal those areas from our past and that's bothering us, then also we can just gladly say, God, give me the strength to pick up all these clothes or this mess, and be thankful. God, I'm so thankful I have the strength, and that you're helping me, you're providing the time, even though sometimes it feels like it's forever, because it happens every day probably, right? But there's a process, and then people who are making the messes or whatever, God, you pray for them, and then God can help them, and you can work as a team, because it's about the relationship. It's always about the relationship. It's not about the mess. It's like, okay, what's going on? Is there something bothering you? How can I help you? How can we bond here? Because what's going to cause anybody to care more is if you care about them. That's another reason why we don't act in a way that's going to be controlling, that's going to please us. It's always about pleasing the Lord and being peace with the Lord, and you're fine whatever happens, so that you can minister. And when you minister to somebody and saying, I really need you to clean up, I really need you to help me, I really need you to not get, come at odds with me on this or on whatever it is, so that we can have a better relationship, and then we can do more for each other, and we can do more as a family, or do more as a co-worker or anything. and you come in a strong, in a gentle way. And if they're not listening, then you keep going, unless it's, like a work situation where it's dangerous or it's not, it's like this, we need to work this out. Then you bring in another person. That's biblical. It's like just because in church, you talk to one-on-one, and then you bring another person in, and then you bring the whole church in. That's just for church. That's for, if you're, at a work situation, it's very healthy to do it that way. To bring in one person and a whole bit. That's a good process for wherever you're at. If you're in friendships and you're in a friendship that you really think is important, you bring in another person in, that you both trust, hoping that you can restore the relationship and make it stronger, and that's biblical. I mean, that's a good biblical principle that you can operate in a lot of different ways. So it's always about the relationship. It's not about the things, because the situation is going to change and it's going to be different every time. And we can let go. God can work it out. We know that. So for today, remember now, it's always being about the Lord, being about just what do you want me to work on for today? Okay, so God bless.